So let's go Pikachu and Eevee is the first one. How we feeling on this game, guys? When was the last time you played this?
When did it come out?
2019 it came out, I'm pretty sure.
No, you know what? That's not true. I picked it up in 2021 to get me a Melmetal.
Nice.
Wow.
To send a sword.
Did you get Pikachu or Eevee?
I got Pikachu. My wife got Eevee. In fact, she did not have a Switch, so she actually has the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee limited edition Switch. Which the beautiful thing about marriage means that I now have a limited edition Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee Switch.
Right. That's hilarious, but also it's really funny because it's ironic that it's a Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee one for you.
But you know what? It's a cute little Switch. It is a cute little Switch. Like I even said, I don't know if we'll go into them, but that is something about Pokemon on the Switch is they actually have a good couple of limited edition Switches they did, and some of them are like certified bangers in my opinion. And the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee one's really cute. I will say,
I'm not a fan much.
If anyone is watching this and has seen this show before, they may already know this about me. I am not fond of this game.
I would love to hear
you. I'm a Pokemon
you.
purist.
Yeah, I would love to hear you defend this opinion because I think it's a little overblown. I think it's turning into a meme.
I've seen a lot of people loving it when we posted this, right? I just saw so many people's lists, and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were like second. You know.
So yeah, I want to hear from you, Zach. Like
I think
this is the time to air it out. Honestly,
look, I think to start on a positive note. Look at this. This is the prettiest Pokemon game on Switch, and if you told me it was the prettiest Pokemon game ever made, I would not be able to argue with you. I don't know if I'd agree. I'd have to kind of look at it all, but I would have to go, that is valid. It is beautiful. That water, dude, look at that water. We're going over the water right now. For listeners, we're looking at water right now, and it's gorgeous.
It's
the movement,
HD Kanto.
Such a beautiful game.
And
however,
just to add to that, go ahead. I just think why this feels so good is because it's like a specific art style, and they're sticking to it, right? I think a lot, and there's a polish. I also think Pokemon games, listen, as we've all grown up, there's a lot of edgelords in the Pokemon space. I feel like a lot of people nothing against edgelords, but I think a lot of gamers look at the more serious, edgy, like boy games, and they're like, this is so cool. Pokemon should be cool and realistic.
Call of Duty only.
Right, and I'm like, Pokemon can be fantastic.
I resemble those
Pokemon can be vivid and gorgeous, right? It can be colorful, and that's fine. I personally don't think Pokemon needs to be realistic, and we'll get into it later. I think as we go throughout this generation, the Switch era, there's all these bids for realism, and I always come back to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, even Sword and Shield, and I go, this is how it should look.
As a not self-declared edgelord, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. These games are so much better than trying to be real. I don't need Pokemon to be real. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, I cut you off, Lumi. I just wanted to add to that.
No, I mean, but yeah, I think what you added is great. I 100% agree with it.
I agree with what you're saying. It's just that it's still the same blocky Kanto vibes that I don't love about it. Still, if it was a completely original, that'd be in these graphics and art style, I would be over the moon. But see, the colors in here are really muted to me, and and then they're just block homes. I know it's just adapted.
Some of that up, Cerulean. You notice they give the roofs more personality. Not only are they blue roofs because Cerulean City, but also you see they look like water, because it's the water city, so I appreciate that. I do wish, look, Kanto is the most dated region because it's the oldest region. It's no fault of anybody's. I'm not saying Kanto's bad.
Yeah.
But Pokemon usually makes a point to, when they're revisiting these regions, try to spice them up a little bit. The greatest example I can think of is, whether you liked it or not, Mauville City is supposed to be the hub of the Hoenn region, and it did not look like it in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. But in Oris, I know some people don't really like the mall vibe, but they did their best to make Mauville a city you would remember.
Yeah.
And I kind of, because it was like, hey, this part of Hoenn pretty bland. Let's put some spice in it. I wish they did that with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I felt like they were so... I think the thing that hindered this game a lot was
Let's Go Pikachu.
Two things, but the first thing was that they were so married to the idea of giving us that original Kanto feel that they gave it to us in areas where we didn't need it. Like, for one, not changing the region at all, like not spicing it up like they did in Norris with Hoenn. But also, too, even things like, dude, I'm sorry, Electivire has been a part of the franchise for 20 years now. Not 20, but like 15. Elekid has been a part of the franchise for 20 years now. All this stuff, and you're telling me that I can't
just add them. Just add them in, like all the evolutions.
It's a couple Pokemon. Well, and they even added the Alolan forms of the Kanto Pokemon.
And the Megas, right? The Megas were too.
Yes, Megas.
That's weird. They give us Megas, but they don't give us them.
It's like, because they knew they had to give something. They knew they had to do something. But they should have just put those in there too. I mean, people would have still complained.
All right,
it makes me feel incomplete when, like, I catch, like, I used a Rhydon in this game. And I actually ended up trading it off my team for an Aerodactyl when I got to Cinnabar Island, because I was like, this feels incomplete because I cannot evolve my Rhydon. Like, I know it goes further, and the game is gaslighting me and telling me it doesn't.
You know what? Okay, yeah, I totally hear you. What you're saying is I think the cons of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are the fact that the world is identical. It is kind of a faithful remake, right? The world that you explore is pretty much a one-to-one remake. It's a grid-based world. It's a grid-based world, but you move in 3D, which can be really jarring. And at this point, it's like I think what we yearn for is with a remake is reimaginations of these Pokemon locations. I think the art style is great. I think a lot of the the actual art direction that they included in the Kanto region is great. But yeah, it just comes down to like wanting a 3D world like we get in Legends Arceus, right? Reimagining Sinnoh. So that's the major con. Another con is that, again, they purposefully restrict how we can play through. That might be another huge theme of the Switch era of Pokemon games.
Yes, that is.
Restricting the way that we can play throughout these games. And there's a lot of moments like that, not only with our Pokemon selection, but also like with the game being like, no, you have... Let's Go Pikachu, for example, specifically, you can only play this game with one-handed controller.
The worst part.
If you're playing this on the TV...
you can play it like this.
You can, on handheld, you can play it. You can play it. Yes, you can play it on handheld. But as an adult, I like to play on my TV, and the only way I can play on my TV is with a one-handed remote. Which is just crazy. I think is crazy. So that is
odd.
That's one thing when it comes to having customization over my experience. But also like the fact that like to enter like I think of like entering Brock's gym. To enter any gym, there's like a silly trivial thing that you have to do in order to progress, which is fine and not a problem.
Yeah.
But it can break the flow of gameplay where you're like, I don't want to catch an Oddish. No, go back and catch an Oddish. I don't want to. Yeah. Oh, fine, it's easy. I can do it.
Making me.
But it just kind of like it kind of breaks. I think the beauty...
And also, too, a big theme that Pokemon players have been complaining about really since X and Y is difficulty. And another thing, too, is when you catch Pokemon, your Pokemon gain experience points. And if you're forcing me to catch a Pokemon to enter this gym, you are forcing my Pokemon to gain experience points. So you're running... I don't have control over my Pokemon levels, so I can't make it a challenge. Like, one thing I'll always defend X and Y about is at least the experience share you can turn off. Yeah. But with this, I can't, and you're telling me I have to raise them. And it's like, okay, well, I can't make it challenging. That is also another big complaint of mine, is that I appreciate that they were trying to mimic the Go style catching. I do, and I don't even hate the Go style catching.
It was really to bring in the people from Go as well.
Right.
Because the whole Go boom happened right before this.
And I can appreciate that, but I like feeling like I'm on a journey with these Pokemon and that I'm raising them. And the thing is, I catch a Pidgey, my Bulbasaur levels up, and now it's evolving into an Ivysaur, and it's not special. You know, it's not this moment. Whereas like before, you'd have these moments where like right before Brock and Fire Red, I'll never forget it. Right before Brock, I defeat the girl. Right, like before you battle Brock and
it's actually
and
a boy.
Charmander.
His name is Camper Liam, and I'll never forget that.
Okay, well there you go.
And he's got a Sandshrew and a Diglett.
But when I defeat Camper Liam, Charmander learns Metal Claw. Suddenly, I'm not screwed in this rock. Like, those moments mean something. Like, Charmander beat this Diglett and now knows Metal Claw. And they don't give you moments like that. And I feel like...
I don't know if they don't give you moments like that. I don't know if that's fair.
Because the only... Like, whenever you battle a wild Pokemon, it goes straight to the catching thing. And it's so weird, too, because when you battle the legendary birds and Mewtwo, you battle them, and then it cuts to the catching thing when you're catching them. And it's like, why couldn't you have given me this?
Done that for everything.
All the Pokemon.
Yeah. I guess I mean, listen, I kind of agree with you guys, but also I think where I'm trying to just, like, remind us that, like, this is a one-off game. This is a one-off specific game. I don't think this game is
we didn't know that, and
we didn't know that
at the time. I know,
also,
but we know that at the
Masuda
time.
was like, if it was successful, then it wasn't gonna just be a one-off, you know. But it was not successful.
Yeah, because they're just trying things. I think
one-off or not, if there's something I hate about it, I'm gonna tear into it. You know.
Yeah, that's fine. But I think what is important to remember is that, like, these different Pokemon games trying different things is not inherently bad. I don't think Let's Go Pikachu
is bad though.
It is if it's not, as if it's a failure, you know?
Right, like, I'm not going to, sit here and say, oh,
this was good.
They tried this feature and everyone hated it, but you know what? They tried a new thing, so
that's literally what I'm saying. I think there's value in trying new things. If you never want to play this game again, you don't need to play it again. But I think, like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, for some of these things, I would like to meet some of these games where they're at. I think when these games came out, it was especially Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I bought my Switch in the hopes for a new Pokemon game, and then lo and behold, we get this thing, which at the time felt like a waste of my time and money. I played it. I'm like, okay, great. Now there's nothing else to do for another year. But guess what? That was 5 years ago. Now it's just a unique Pokemon experience that's official. Right, that did offer a lot of new things.
You have to judge it on both, though. Like, yes, keep in mind what you just said. Now, how it feels, but also how it felt when you first got it. Like, I literally was the same. I think
it was fun.
Excited to get it because I was like, it's a new Pokemon game. I'm like, I've been waiting for so long for a new Pokemon game. But once I got it and played it for, like, I don't even know, a week, I was like. It was fun for like a few minutes, and then I was like, "This catching is so hard, like so dumb." And
you thought it was hard?
It is hard. It doesn't work. And then,
that sounds like a skill issue.
I didn't have that problem.
That sounds like a skill issue. So I was like,
I had an issue with it. I was like, "This is dumb." Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't want to put that much effort into trying to do this, and I don't get to battle or trying to catch my Pokemon. Anyway, I think it's terrible. I think that's terrible, and I played about halfway through. I think I got to Koga's gym, and then I sold the game. The first
you
Pokemon,
sold it?
I sold it.
Oh my god!
It was the first Pokemon game mainline that I've ever sold, ever.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like,
Dang.
I hate this, and I sold it.
I will say, I never.
So did you just think it was boring?
It was trash. It was so.
I never
bad.
finished it. I got to the Elite Four. And my Pokemon were like so over leveled that I was like, you know what, this isn't fun. I just tore through Victory Road, and I'm not having a good time. I was like, I don't need to take on the Elite Four because I know I'm going to tear through them.
Yeah.
So I'm just done. And then I picked up Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and continued playing that for the next day.
All right. Well, I can't. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like I now, like you said, looking back at it, I want to reacquire this game and play through it, because back then the way I play Pokemon games is I try to catch like all the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Sure. But I realized with remakes like BDSP, which we'll get into, I decided I'm not going to try to catch them. I'm just going to catch my team and just run through the game with my team, and that's
the thing, right? It depends on what kind. I think it matters. I think the way we meet the game matters.
Yeah. See, but now I look at it and I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do these battles. It's just the whole catching thing was so bad. It was so bad. Most people agree. Like most people agree that it was not fun.
Yeah, but just because most people agree doesn't mean it's a good opinion, because I think a lot of people get their opinions from stupid idiots like us on YouTube who have an opinion who then repeat an opinion. Right.
I don't
All
think
I'm saying
any
is,
and you guys are allowed to
I
dislike it. That's
You're-
fine.
Yeah,
Because I also
like,
think it's aggravating. I also think it's a little aggravating. But okay, this is my point. This is my point. I think Pokemon, the magic of Pokemon. This is my point. Both of these things are true. The magic of Pokemon, as a kid, is the ability to have choice and to have control over your experience, over your adventure. When you're a kid, you don't have a lot of control, right? Maybe you have a lot of like time, but you don't have a lot of freedom. You're a kid. You have to go to school. You have to listen to your parents. You don't have a lot of control over most things. And when you enter Pokemon specifically, you have agency. You can do whatever you want in this game. You can get crushed by the end. You can never make it to the Elite Four, or you can grow and adapt, train your team, get rewarded for that, become stronger. You can do anything you want. And I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, just like a lot of Switch era games, have a symptom, which is that they don't allow you full control in the same way that older Pokemon games always did. I think that's really why a lot of these games get under our skins, right? But on the flip side of that, looking back, they're not so aggravating if you just look at it like, okay, well, in Let's Go, you can't battle the Pokemon, the wild Pokemon. You have to catch them. But if I want, and here's the thing, I do like the art style, but at the end of the day, if I want to play through Kanto, I'm playing Fire Red. Right, so that game is always available to me. That game's always available to me.
I think that's my point for why this game is gonna rank low for me.
Sure.
Because I'm going, okay, if I want to play a Kanto game, because I have replayed Kanto since this has come out, and just like you said, Dusty, I've grabbed my little Game Boy here and I played Fire Red. I played a 20-year-old game over the 5-year-old game.
Yeah. But and I think that's why I'm that's why I don't have as much of an issue with this game. I'm telling you, the thing that is most annoying is that I can't play the game with both controllers, like an actual controller. That is actually the most annoying thing. I don't care about catching. I think I just look at all these things as like a quirky option to Fire Red and Leaf Green, or to Red, Blue, and Yellow. People complain about the fact that there's so many Kanto games and we don't need another Kanto game. And I'm like, this game did something different with the Kanto formula. It's not what we wanted, but I'll tell you this, I used to bring this up a lot. My niece, this was her first game on Switch. She loved the heck out of this thing. She would take the controller and she would try to catch her Pokemon with the motion controls, and she loved the heck out of that. And she had her stupid little Eevee, just right, and it had a little costume, and it was her best friend. And I remember she found a Pharaoh and thought it was a legendary Pokemon. I think I can appreciate this game for a lot of things that doesn't really have to do with the fact that the game is good. Like, I can appreciate it for the fact that it's a Kanto game on Switch, and that new generations have now an access point to the same things that I had an access point growing up. But I'm just trying to. If I'm looking at all the angles, I agree with you guys. But also,
I gotta say though, so two things. The first thing is basically what we were talking about. This is the same problem with BDSP. It's too faithful of a remake to be like, it's faithful of a remake, but then they take away or add things that aren't like the original, so you just want to play the originals.
Totally,
that's a problem. That's a big problem.
But that's from our perspective. Because we've played the originals.
But I'm ranking it from my perspective.
That's
totally. That's fine. Yeah.
Listen, that leads to my second point, which is that what you're saying is this game was made just for kids. And I'm saying just for kids because I think it was of the most mainline Pokemon games are for kids and adults. But they should have marketed this as like, this is for, the younger audience. I don't know how to market it that way, but you know what I mean? Like, this is more...
Maybe they didn't either.
Or that.
Because, I think they kind of did. I think they kind of did.
As older Pokemon fans, or just anyone over the age of 7, could be like, man, this is hard or dumb, or, this isn't like Pokemon that I've played before, or, you know what I mean? All of that is in effect here. I do have a positive thing to say whenever we move on.
I have one more negative to say as well.
Yeah, go for it.
We should do positives and negatives. I kind of like that. No, I think I was going to say I have a memory because listen, all these things change. I remember when this game was announced, people were like, well, what the heck? No one wants. People were excited, and then they were like, no, we don't want this. It looks stupid. And then I remember when the game came out, I saw so many reviews of open-minded people who made content who were open-minded at least, right? There's always, some people hate to say they're wrong, but who were like, I didn't think I was going to like this, but I'm playing it. It's a simple Pokemon game. It looks nice. It's a fun game to have on the Switch. I like this. It's silly. Like, it's fun, right? But I think, again, this is something, and listeners, reflect at home, right? How do you play a Pokemon game? Because I think this is all going to affect how we rank all of these titles, obviously, right? Like, I like to replay the it's
These
twofold.
are opinions.
I either start a new game and I play through the game and then that's it, and that's like my nostalgia. Like, I get to like relive the experience. Or usually for when the game is the primary game, I put 500 hours into it, and it's all post game, shiny hunting and exploring, and if it's for whatever. And there's none of that post game stuff in Let's Go. And I think Let's Go left such a sour taste in our mouths because there really wasn't a lot of post game other than the shiny hunting.
Oh, that's a whole nother thing. There was no post game, and that was terrible.
Ooh, yeah.
How would you even know? You sold the game.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I just am like, I don't want to play this, especially when there's nothing to do afterwards.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong. The only post game was like collecting Mega Stones, getting Mewtwo, and then battling like a trainer with the same Pokemon. Like you do like Caterpie versus Caterpie.
Yeah, I think shiny hunting was a big post game thing for me. The shiny hunting was fun,
and the shiny hunting is good on here. That's something I'll give it credit for, is that a lot of the times when you see a streamer shiny hunting, they're shiny hunting on Legends Arceus or this.
Yeah,
yes,
and it's because the Pokemon appear in the overworld, right?
That's one of the positives, is the whole. It goes back to what it looks like, but also like, them being in the overworld and you seeing it, and you see the shiny. You see the shiny in this game?
Yeah, the shinies appear in the overworld.
Yeah, it's overworld. In fact,
can we talk about how awesome the ride?
It doesn't make a noise, but it's got like a special aura around it too.
Can we talk about how awesome the ride Pokemon are?
That was my
that
positive.
was a big positive.
That was my positive that I was gonna say earlier. Like, the two things for me in this game that are amazing is the art style and just the overall like graphics of it all, and the ride Pokemon are incredible. Yeah, the ride Pokemon are how it should be. I mean, other than you being able to ride every single Pokemon, this is like, if they're gonna force you to ride some, these are the best way to do it.
Yeah, I feel like they picked a good batch too.
Yeah. But it's how they do it though. It's like creative and fun, and
like hugging the Snorlax.
Yeah,
while he's walking.
Yeah, I think the ride animations in this are really cool because it's the only time, like the only way to see those animations are if you capture and invest in those Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like a lot of other following Pokemon, a lot of other games that have that feature, it's just like it's like a static party sprite that's not even like following you properly.
We should probably rank it soon.
I have
do this for each one.
I have two more negatives to say.
Right,
the first one, I admit, is really nitpicky. I wasn't going to bring it up, but just to be honest and transparent, I want to mention it.
Sucks.
This isn't even
Trace
sucks. That's I have three things to say. First is Trace sucks. That was not one of mine, but you're so right.
He sucks.
Why does he suck? I don't even remember him.
Dude, he would you'd bat. Keep in mind, you're coming from Fire Red, where and this is really, I guess, really a critique of Pokemon Rivals overall. It is. But in the modern age, with some exceptions, I think Bead was good. I also think Nimona is a great example of a positive rival.
They came back. They came back with Nimona.
But anywho, Trace is literally he's will you please beat me in battle? Versus Blue is I'm gonna kick your butt, and you're no, you're not gonna kick my butt, Blue Oak. But with this guy, he's literally please beat me in battle, and when you're done, he's thank you so much for beating me ruthlessly. Here's 7 max revives. And it's dude.
All right, I got some more positives. So let's rattle out these negatives.
Two. Again, this is probably more of a critique of modern age of Pokemon. Safari Zone Erasure. I'll never get behind it.
That's valid. I'll
never get behind it.
That's valid.
But that's not something that this game's not the first to do it. So
Yeah. Just kind of.
And then
sign of the times.
3. I have 2 words for you both.
What?
Batty bad.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I think it's fine. I think it was cool that they made the starter Pokemon Pikachu and Eevee to overcome that they're like not final stages. They just like
I agree.
give them a power up and you can customize it and it's like your best friend and it has they have all these like crazy moves and they give them all the HMs.
Yeah, but did they have to name the move Batty Bad?
It's what dark type move would you give an Eevee?
I don't know. Honestly,
you know what'd be cool
with
if they
Eevee
reflect the evolutions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
moon,
if it was like
Moon Pulse.
Yes.
Or something.
Yes.
That would be pretty cool.
Like Moonshade or something, you know?
Yeah.
But no, they unironically went with Batty Bad, Buzzy Buzz, Splishy Splash, Floaty Fall, Glitzy Glow.
So,
come on.
So a positive that I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee have, and this is kind of, I guess, maybe, I mean, you got to give it to the game. I think this would have happened no matter what Kanto remake we would have gotten, but I love how this is just like understated, and I think not enough people appreciate this. We kind of take it for granted, but like I'm showing an image right now or a video of your character talking with Mina, who's a character from Alola, and there's so many moments with the characters specifically. All the characters have new designs. You find there's all sorts of new stories with these other characters. You get to battle Trainer Red. You get to battle Trainer Blue, Trainer Leaf, or what's her name, Green. You get to battle all of these legacy characters from Kanto who weren't actually available to battle. You couldn't even, I mean, I guess you could battle them in Gen 2. I think what I love about Pokemon games...
Not her, not Mina.
Yeah, not her.
Who?
Not Leaf. You couldn't battle Leaf. And,
yeah, exactly. You couldn't battle... Yeah. You can't battle Mina, you can't battle Leaf. And I think what I love about Pokemon games is when I play through them, there is evidence, there's artifacts in the world that remind me as a player that there are other things going on in other regions. There's characters living their lives without me, whether I'm playing the game or not, right? When I'm playing through Sunny Shore City and I see Jasmine just like chilling on the beach, I go, I know who that is. She's from Johto. So Johto existed in this world. I want to feel this interconnected world. And there's a lot of moments like that in this game. Oh, even canonizing Team Rocket, Jesse and James. How cool is that? How cool is that?
Also, the leader of Team Rocket in Gen 2.
Yes, dude.
I forget, is it Archer, I think,
I think it's Archer. There's an admin in Gen 2, like one of the Team Rocket admins.
He's basically like the leader.
Yeah, in Gen 2. And he obviously doesn't show up in like the other Kanto games, but they canonized him. They included him in this game. Anyways, I think that does a lot for me, and I think we don't appreciate it. To go back to a point that we actually, and then we got to move on, but that we never actually discussed, that I think will also show up in BDSP, is the fact that Lumi, you were saying that like it's annoying that you can't evolve your Pokemon, and I'm totally with you, man. I think Kanto, the original Kanto experience in Generation 1 is what it is, right? And then we get a remake in Gen 3, and they do the same thing where you can't evolve your Pokemon. At least not in the main story, and you can, I guess, in post-game. You can eventually get a Scizor in post-game.
It's worse than that, because they'll, like, taunt you with it. I remember I had a Golbat, and it was like, what? Your Golbat's evolved? And I was like, dude, I'm about to get a Crobat. Because, I'm a young Pokemon fan. Yeah, and I'm a young Pokemon fan, so I'm like, I've seen the anime, I know Crobat exists. Yeah. And I'm about to get a Crobat, and it goes like, what? Golbat's evolving. That's like, wait,
every time
never
you level
mind.
up. Every time
like
you level
it literally goes like, wait, no, it's not.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, it's evolving. You know?
They did it totally on purpose then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh wait.
I think it was like the tease, like, hey, try doing this later.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can't do that to me. That's so mean.
So that's Fire Red, but in this game, even though they're not taunting you with an evolution, you can just never get Electivire. You can never get Magmortar. You can never get Scizor. And even a game called Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you can't even get its other evolutions. I think there could have been so many. And I think
was so dumb.
And you know what?
Oh
I don't think I would have cared that much if this game, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, didn't also have regional forms and megas, and they included all of those, but they didn't actually include the raw evolutions. I think if this game included all of just like the standard evolutions that we just assume are just the evolutions now, all the cross-gen evolutions, right? There's a Magneton on the screen. Why can't I get Magnezone, right? If they included all of those, I don't think this game would have gotten as much hate. But again, this is an example, and we're gonna move on now. I'm starting to think the theme is that they just limit the control over our gameplay experience, which I think is a foundational pillar.
On that
of
note,
the Pokemon
I really
experience.
don't love having to keep Pikachu and Eevee like with us all the time because I don't like either of them, and
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
you-
like forced to keep them.
Yeah, but
and I hate them. I'm just like, get away from me.
Yeah.
That's really a thing.
Dude, I'm
like,
telling you, these are my
game.
favorite pod moments. Is like when Dusty and I are like talking about something, and like it's pretty logical, and then Soul just comes in and is like, I kicked puppies, and it's like, dude, what?
I just get Pikachu and Eevee away from me.
Yeah.
Can't even evolve the Eevee. Get away.
Classic all silver.
But you know, you would have liked it if Nebby could have been your little buddy on your shoulder, right? No? What about Necrozma?
You would have liked it if Ultra Necrozma could
Yes.
sit on his shoulder.
That's much better.
Yeah,
yes,
I think
please.
that's an issue of taste, I think.
Where
Ultra
are you
Necrozma
ranking it?
used
But
fatty bad.
All right.
also, though, you're saying that's a question of taste, but I'm forced to keep them. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
No, I get you,
don't want
I
to
get
keep.
you.
You're not forced to keep him in your party, just on your shoulder.
I'm forced to keep
Yeah,
them.
but he doesn't even want to look
them.
at it. He doesn't even want to look at it.
I'm forced to keep looking at them and playing with their hats and stuff like that, giving them hairstyles. I don't want to do this.
All right, I'm gonna. I don't even have a proper ranking. I'm just kind of doing it in my head right
I'd
now.
put it
Five.
in 4.
I was gonna put it in 4 as well.
5.
You'd put it in 5. Oh,
It's
I'd
5
put it
for
in
me.
4.
All right.
We'll get to it when we
So
talk
it
about.
goes to 4.